Alright. You know, these types of movies are so weird because the copyright system sucks. The movie starts with an async employee running around in the background. Oh, hey, it's the original image. He is boarding the way through, like that'll do anything. Oh my gosh, is that Kurt? He gets back to the computer and tries to contact his coworkers to tell him to come get him. He tells the async workers that there is something else in the area. This guy gets caught lacking and is chased around a multitude of rooms until he gets cornered due to the door being jammed and gets sent to Davy Jones's locker. And these guys just let this happen. Like, bro, you guys suck. But what are they meant to do? Can't really blame them. They can't do anything. Present day. This is Mary. Her childhood home is being taken down. Loser. This is Clark. He runs Captain Clark's Ottoman Empire. Wow, bro, you're really gonna name your store after yourself? That's actually insane, bro. Get an ego check. So Mary is a therapist for Clark. Clark is alone. He has no wife. He beat her. No friends. He's Kirk just says that he's wired the way of hurting people. And he acts like he wants help. But come on, man. We know he doesn't really want help. They do a roleplay exercise about the night that Barbara kicked him out of the house. Clark is a
fucking architect.
He gets too far into the roleplay about how Barbara sucks and is lazy. Just like my sister who hasn't streamed in 2 months. At Clark's store, he is filming an ad but fails it because the chair he sat on broke underneath. Okay, Han Petro. He tells Kat to open the store, but it already is. Which is actually sad because no one is in the store. Big store, but only 2 employees is actually crazy. Clark, get him up. Clark calls in an electrician because he has power outages after hours. He takes the electrician down to the breaker and they find a weird switch. It does nothing when they flick it, like literally nothing. He asks Kat if anything happened, but it didn't turn anything off. But hey, there's a rat. Mary has a book. What a sellout. Clark is kinda homeless, so he sleeps in the bed that he sells. His TV shuts off, so he has to put down his alcohol, something my dad has never done in his life. The lights come on and start to flicker, but stops not too soon after, so he is now depressed on his bed. He is driving. Yo, bro, don't drink and drive. He stops at his old house, but it was just another therapy session from Mary. Clark is watching an ad of a competitor until the channel switches to a yellow room and shuts off. He beats the TV, just like how my dad beat me, and the lights start to flicker again. He goes to the breaker box and flips every lever and flips the one that's not even connected to anything, and all the lights turn off. He tries to turn it back on, but it doesn't give any signal. As he walks away, he spots some light coming through the wall. He goes to it and puts a hand on it, no clipping through the wall. He ends up in that same yellow area as he saw earlier. I'm gonna call it the Backrooms from this point forward because we already know what this is, and you know. He realizes he can go back and forth between the backrooms and reality. But for some reason, he stays in the backrooms. Dude, Clark, every light in here is on. No wonder why your bill is so high. He wanders around until he finds a room with a stop sign. And instead of listening to that stop sign, he decides to go the other way and go into the room with an open door. Bird. He hears a voice somewhere, and down the hallway, he sees a figure. Turns out it was just a cutout of a caveman. But still, why do you not have survival instincts? He finds a vent in the wall and crawls through it. Survival instincts of Charlie Kirk! On the other side, he sees the chair that he broke at the beginning of the movie, but like comically large. There's a hole in the middle of the room with a bunch of chairs in it, and these are small chairs, not the big one like that one. Clark hears something on the other side of the vent where he just was, and instead of running away, he goes to check it out, and the cardboard cutout audio just stops and gets thrown and cut inside the room. Clark starts to scramble to get out of there, but has trouble with the door. Bro, you have no survival instincts. Eventually, he gets to the other side, and he runs back to the room where he entered the backrooms from. But before he leaves fully, he takes a stool. Ain't ever beating the allegations, are we? And he just sits there contemplating his life, like, what am I doing here? He was caught on camera by the async employees, but they ain't gonna do nothing. Next day at therapy, oh my gosh, this water that I'm drinking just actually sucks. Oh my god. Clark tells Mary about his findings and shows her a map of the backrooms. He says it's massive. Mary basically calls him crazy, so he leaves to go get proof. He heads to Kat and Bobby's place and tells them to come over to work tomorrow and that he'll pay overtime. And make sure to bring a camera. Bobby is recording Clark pack his stuff for his research and shows them the backroom door, which he taped over. Clark tells him that that is the door, and they laugh at him for it, but he walks through the door and that shut him up real quick. Like they were quiet. Not really. They were actually just freaking out, but you know. Bobby goes through, and same with Kat. Oh my gosh, Kat is like so annoying in this movie. I'm not even joking. I hated her character. She was so annoying. Clark mentions that there's a pool. Bobby finds a painting room. I have no idea what this room is called, so bear with me. He ties a rope around Bobby, and Bobby goes down, and Clark sucks at his job and drops Bobby for a split second. Eventually, Bobby gets to the bottom and sees a room full of laundry. He looks around and sees a creature, so he panics and tells him to pull him up. They do pull him up, and at the top, he tells him that there's something down there. He can't get the rope off, and the creature pulls on it. Clark and Kat hold on to Bobby to try to resist the pull that the creature is doing. But they both suck at their jobs, so Bobby gets sent to Davy Jones's locker, and they get sent there too. I think Bobby might be dead. I don't know what makes me think that, though. Kat runs after Bobby, and she screams. Clark starts running. He enters a white-walled building and goes through the closet and sees a bunch of dead async employees. He ends up in a dark-lit room with a Christmas tree in the middle. He walks towards it and sees a still life with a lamp. The still life turns on the lamp, and another still life representing his wife Barbara starts chasing him. He runs until he's in the pool rooms. He keeps going until he hears Kat's voice, which I have no idea if this is the real Kat or if it's a fake one. Who knows? He puts the camera down, and the creature from before picks up the camera. Kat says his name and tells him to look out, and the camera cuts. So Mary's mom is a crazy person and is a shut-in, forcing Mary to be a shut-in as well, and that forced isolation fundamentally broke Mary's perception of safety. So now that Mary is an adult, she has an obsession of fixing broken people so that she will never feel helpless again. Mary listens to a recording of Clark saying he probably won't be back if she is listening to this. So she goes to his store and sees a whole lot of mail at the door, assuming this is like around 2 weeks after the Bobby incident. She enters the store and finds it completely abandoned, so she goes downstairs to look for Clark, and she finds a taped wall and touches it, no clipping into the backrooms. And just like Clark, she doesn't have any survival instincts and wanders around the backrooms for no reason up until she finds the mural on the wall that Clark had made. She turns around and sees Clark there, and my man Clark is acting like a schizophrenic because they heard a noise and then he just starts strangling Mary out like, bro, who is your ops? So like a normal person, Mary passes out and she dreams about her mother in the mental hospital being taken away, and now she's alone like a loser. We see that the Backrooms is basically just a copy machine. It copied Mary's room and her entire childhood, but Mary wakes up and she sees Clark on the other end of the table next to a bunch of still lives. Clark is basically just gone already. His mind is not right. He tells Mary that these people are in fact in the real world, but in the Backrooms they are just remembered but slightly off. He tells Mary that they might be even better because they can't feel anything. He compares them to furniture. This guy moved? I know he did. They're edible. Wonder how he figured that one out. He gives the guy's intestines to Mary and opens the fridge. Kat's head is in the fridge, so Mary starts freaking out. You're probably next. Mary tells Clark to untie her and they can talk it through to make him feel better, but he refuses because she'll just panic and want to find a way out, and she'll end up dead or in the exact same situation she is right now. She tells him that she wants to help and she'll do anything he needs. He wants to hear that he was right and she was wrong. Bro is petty. She starts saying it, but he slows her down and they start the roleplay thing again. He asks Barbara still life to turn off the lights and she doesn't, so he does. And the lamp guy turns on his lamp. Clark feels like there's still something off, so he carves Barbara's hair off the still life and places it on Mary's head. Now they get into the roleplay. He says sorry and that he lost track of time, and it gets heated. He is a fucking architect. He loses character and he crashes out, telling her to stay in character. She tells him that Barbara didn't leave him for drinking or the late hours, and it's because he whines a lot, and tells him that it is his fault that his life is trash and that he doesn't want to change. But it's just how he's wired. He was on the verge of tears, and he asks her how he could stop it, but she doesn't know and admits that she's a horrible therapist. Clark says that he doesn't want to change or leave the Backrooms, and Mary says that's fine and that he doesn't have to, but to let her go. So he does. He unties her and says sorry. The Barbara still alive hears footsteps and starts running. Captain Clark comes to the party, and Clark acts like they're friends and goes in for the hug, saying they don't need to change. Captain Clark kirked Clark by biting off his shoulder. The lamp guy flickers the lamp. Clark gets body slammed and Mary bails so fast. He ends up in a neighborhood looking area from her childhood. She runs to the door on the other side of the room, and not far behind, Captain Clark is there carrying the original Clark. She heads into one of the houses trying to escape. She must be running very slow because Clark is gaining on her. She has to climb over a room full of couches and hurts her foot, making it hard to move. Captain Clark is close to getting her, but she goes through the doggy door. Clark is banging on the door trying to get in, and Mary has to be careful not to fall into the pit. She slowly climbs up the stairs and opens the door. Captain Clark breaks in and she climbs up, and it seems like she's back in the store, but she can't leave. Mary looks behind her and sees Captain Clark behind her. He slowly steps towards her, trying to aura farm. She stumbles into a clothes rack and uses it to defend herself, breaking the peg leg. She falls onto a cutout and gas starts to fill the air. Captain Clark is still crawling towards her, and she sees an exit, so she goes towards it, but is blasted by the gas and she falls to the ground. She has trouble seeing and moving, but eventually wears off. But when it does, she turns around and sees Captain Clark on top of her. She pushes his face away from her and then uses her concrete handprint she had in her pocket, bashing his head in. She gets free and gets to a very claustrophobic area. Captain Clark is still trying to reach her. She goes to the other end where there's light and sees an instinct employee. They freak out and gas her. They take her out of the Backrooms, and she's surrounded by scientists and guys in hazmat suits. They heal healed Marion and takes her with them. Look, it's Captain Clark. An instinct scientist walks into the room and introduces himself as Phil. He wants to ask a few questions like how she got there. She tells him that she just walked through a wall at a furniture store. And Phil shows her a picture of Ottoman Empire, asking if that's the location. She says yes. She says she was looking for someone, and he shows a picture of Clark, asking if they were the person that she was looking for. She wants to know where she is. He tells her that she's at Async, and they used to make MRI machines before they found the Backrooms, but now it's their job to search and explore the Backrooms to figure out more about it. He asks what's gonna happen to her, and Phil tells her that he doesn't know. She tunes him out, and the scene switches to her childhood inside of the Backrooms. Everybody got a missing poster except Clark. Even inside the Backrooms, Clark doesn't get any love. Then we see that Mary herself now has a still life inside of the Backrooms as well. And then the movie just ends. And that's the Backrooms. I don't know when exactly this will be out because I'm still having trouble with my session video with the copyright. But if you guys enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. It'll help me out a bunch considering these videos take a while to make. And if you guys want me to make parts of Kane's actual series, I will because I've been wanting to. Next video will probably be Verity or something. Maybe even the Walter Files. Just whatever I feel like doing. I still have the Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F video to release. I might even do some other genres like Spider-Man or whatever. Anyways, bye.